Welcome, my people, to another episode of the Villageboy Podcast. It is your host, Trez, and today we're getting into a subject that has really not been something that we've talked about on the Villageboy Podcast, but we'd always said it's a platform for cultural, social, political, and entertainment issues. So we'll shift our attentions from a lot of political and cultural business issues and get into a little bit of the entertainment of the century of the day. Last month, former CEO of Astronomer Andy Byron uh, was caught on a cosplay concert where he was entangled with his head of HR, and they looked like they were in so much love together. We're going to watch the video here shortly so you have an idea of what it is that we're talking about. There you go. There you see the CEO, the man, and see how happy this couple looks. They look like they're just so much in love. I mean, look at the smile. She looks comfortable. She's holding his hands. Um, you would think that this is new couples, a couple that's been married. If you didn't know nothing about this story, it's been a month, but if you didn't know nothing about it, you would think this is a man that looked relaxed. This is a man that looks happy. This is a man that looks like he is just with the woman of his dreams. Let's go ahead and play this video and have an understanding of what's going on in here.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
And the star artist there said either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. But the reaction, let's go ahead and look at that reaction immediately. Immediately, the camera went on them. The first thing you'll notice is shame and guilt, shame and guilt. Let's go ahead here. I think this is it. So at this point, they still, arms in arms, loving on each other. Beautiful to see. He just looks happy. He looks at home. And then,
all right, come on.
Shame right there. Shame. So on the Villageboy Podcast today, we want to talk about men who are unfaithful, infidelity, but still stay in their marriages. He's married. I think I don't know. I heard word on the street where she was married too, but I didn't really look too much into her. So the first thing is shame. He didn't stand in there and say, "I don't care." I would still, I'm just gonna hog on her. I don't care. He put his head down in shame, right? He put his head down in shame as you're going.
You're okay?
Yeah, he tucked his head down in shame. And this is the age-old question. Age-old question about men who cheat but still stay with the women they're cheating on. Right? Like he's cheating on this woman. You would think that he's happy. He looked happy in the video. You would think that everything, the stars are aligned. Everything is perfect. He has a good woman. The woman looks like, oh my God, I found me the perfect man. The stars are aligned. I'm happy. They're going to a concert. They have A-list sitting positions. They are having a good time. They look amazingly happy together. But immediately the lamplight shines on them to expose that, look at this lovely couple. They immediately duck in shame. He at least immediately ducks in shame to hide himself. And if you didn't know nothing about him, that right there was good because the artist didn't know nothing. He said either they're having an affair or they're shy. And if they're having an affair, the man is hiding away. It means that he has something of value that he still holds on. And that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting to say. How are you being able to cheat on your spouse and still have shame and still have the ability to hide when you're found in a position that you would want to, put yourself out there and say, well, I love my partner. I love my significant other, right? So why do men cheat but stay? A look at infidelity across the globe. And it's a global issue, right? It's a global issue. It's not black, it's not white, right? It's not Asians, Africans, Arabs, everybody across the board. Hispanic cheat on their partners, and they still won't leave their families for the side piece for that lady. He won't leave he looks happy, but he won't leave his wife and his kids for that woman. He could have just been so happy. He has money, he has everything. He could have just said, you know what? This woman makes me happy. I look younger. I'm going to leave my current wife. I'm not leaving my kids, but I'm going to leave my current wife and go to this woman that I obviously like or love. So why do men not take this initiative across the globe? Let's step back from the Western world, because if you overly focus on the cultures of the Western world, it might water down, because in the Western world, monogamy is what is sold to you as the only benchmark of love. Right, one man, one woman. In other parts of the world, one man can marry multiple women. So monogamy is not necessarily the hallmark of a relationship. So we're going to scale back a little bit from Western ideologies. We're going to listen to a psychologist who's Western, but then I'll be able to point to you how heavily Western ideologies view monogamic relationships, and castigate relationships that are of one man and probably multiple women. So what's the deal? Is it culture? Is it biology? Is it just a man's ego, or is it just a straight up messed up situation? Like, what causes a man to cheat and still want to stay with a woman that he is cheating on? Buckle up, my people. Let's get some real talk. It's probably gonna trigger some of you. It's gonna push some of you on over the edge, but we're gonna try to use the truth. We're gonna talk about a lot of issues here. All right. Infidelity is nothing new. It's an age-old problem all the way back in the Bible. Before humans, all everybody, man, it goes back in time, right? It goes cheating, infidelity is as old as this planet has existed. And I'm sure if aliens, we could go to the aliens' home, I'm sure they having cheating on each other and having infidelity as well. I don't know, but the way humans do it, you would think that they copied it from the aliens. And it's not exclusive to race, like I said, or culture. Indians, even with arranged marriages, cheat. Japanese, Koreans, whites from America, whites from Europe, Hispanics, Mexicans, Hondurans, Brazilians, Panamanians, Paraguayans, where Pacific Islanders, Africa, Egyptians, Moroccans, Algerians, Nigerians, Cameroonians, Ghanaians, South Africans, Burundians, Botswanans, all the men, not all, men in this country, their vast majority, not in their vast majority, sorry, men, a lot of men across the board cheat. So let's look at the numbers. Studies suggest that 20 to 25% of men worldwide engage in some type of infidelity at some point in their relationship. The Institute of Family Studies in 2023 reported that 20 to 25% of men worldwide. Let's do the math. There are 4.5 billion men. If 20% of 4.5 billion, right? 20 was that 20 to 25%. So let's just go with the high number. High number. That's 1,125,000,000 people. So roughly the population of China. So the equivalent of the population of China in men have worldwide have engaged in some type of infidelity. Why? While about three, three and a quarter billion men are faithful or are not practicing. But you would hear things like all men cheat when the study shows that only a very small percentage, 20 to 25, which is about the population of China, still a very large number. But given that there are about 4.5 billion men, significantly low compared to when you hear radical feminists or men hating women say all men cheat. Across cultures, men are more likely to cheat for physical or sexual reasons than emotional ones. What does that mean? Men are not usually emotional cheaters. They don't cheat because they love you, they like you. They cheat because it's available. You're giving it to them, they're taking it. Um, uh, Physical, maybe they overpower you, they're in a position of authority or something, but it's usually not tied to emotional feelings, how they feel about you, how they like you, they love you. Usually, when women cheat, it's more emotional. In 85% of cases, men who cheat do not leave their primary partner. This was reported in the Journal of Marriage in 2022, the Journal of Marriage and Family. So, in 85% of cases, men who cheat typically do not leave their primary partners. And that's pretty interesting. See, but in Western cultures, especially in American culture that it's very hypocritical and very judgmental, you would see things like a man who cheats on his partner is losing his job. What is the relationship? What is he didn't cheat on you? He cheated on his partner. Your question: you have no business in their relationship. You did not give him the job because he was a good husband. You did not give him the job as CEO because he was the husband of the year. He loved his wife. He didn't love his wife. He was married. He was not married. You gave him the job because he was qualified and he had exemplified that he was qualified under interview. Now, if he has an indiscretion somewhere outside of work, now if he loses his job because he and his co-workers were funneling outside of work, not on the job, I can probably understand. But the hypocrisy of an entire country questioning the CEO and asking for a CEO to fire and talking about integrity, his loyalty is to his wife, not to his loyalty in marriage is to his wife. Your loyalty in marriage has nothing to do with whether you are able to do your job or not. But that's the hypocrisy of Western countries and advanced Western countries like America, the two good society in America. In Europe, um, French presidents were known to have concubines, were known to have, as they call them, une maîtresse, a side piece, a side chick, a side woman, right? It's a French culture. It's I don't know if it's accepted there, but it's not something that they frown on. They say the other woman. It's not something that would cost a man his job. While in the Christian, so-called Christian American country, as they would like to call it, a man's indiscretion can cost him his job. That's the height of craziness. I am I doing business with you? Are you your infidel your indiscretions with your wife? What does that got to do with me? What does that got to do with me judging your character? Can you negotiate me a business deal that can land me millions of or else billions of dollars? Yes. What has your integrity with your family? What has your integrity, whether you're a good father, you suck as a father, got to do with your dealings with me on a business term? So am I going to look for a man and then I judge him? For me to be able to do business with somebody, I need to ask him, do you cheat on your wife? If you cheat on your wife, I can't do business with you. Are you a good father? If you're not a good father, I can't do business with you. Is business ever gonna get done? In all fairness, it's a question I'm asking. Is business ever gonna get done? So why I don't condone infidelity, I am not big on judging people who it's a situation between him and the woman he married. I have neither an opinion or sympathize any which way as long as he's not abusing physically this woman, where somebody needs to jump in there and protect the woman, I'm sure the courts are more than capable of handling any separation if the woman decides to separate. That woman can decide to stay in that marriage. So, what does your opinion have to do if she decides to stay? You would then now turn to attacking her. She's weak. Look at her. She's succumbing to pressure. She's this. She's that. That's your advanced hypocritical society. This man's job and his choice of life, and I can guarantee you, if this man was not with a woman, it was doing this with someone else, I am telling you, this reaction would never have been the same. They would have said he's living his best life, he's living his true self, he has come to terms with who he truly is, and they will not fire him. It's for the same reason where when a man cheats on his wife with another woman, it is so bad. It is almost unpardonable. It's unforgivable, right? That man is almost in a position to lose everything. Even the friendship that he shared with that woman, he's probably going to lose that. But if he was cheating on that woman with another man, women are more willing to forgive. Women are more willing to understand. Women are more willing to say, oh my God, he was with me, but he was not himself. He had always been in the closet and he was in pain. He was struggling. As long as they didn't catch any kind of illness, right? If everything is good, women are more willing to understand that, well, he's now where he needs to be. The divorce is not as bad if the divorce was with a woman. The divorce is more amicable. The women are like, well, it was not another woman. So you could see the disconnect and the sheer hypocrisy in how they pick and choose where they are offended on the same instance, right? And so you could travel the globe. You could go whether in Johannesburg, whether you're in Beijing, you're in Guangzhou, you're in Peking. The pattern is the same. Men cheat, but they still want to stay. Most men don't want to break their marriages or current relationship that they are in, even though they're out in the streets frolicking or doing whatever it is they're doing. Is it love for the family? Is that what it is? Is it fear of losing an identity, a purpose, a status? When the CEO, Byron, was when he was cuddling with this woman, was he processing that? Well, if I'm caught, I'm going to lose my status. I'm going to lose my family. Was that information, or did he not care at that point in time? Right? Is it something deeper? Right? So let's try to figure out some of the reasons why men in situations like this act the way they do. So why do men step out but keep home fires burning? Why do they do this? Why do they step out and keep their home intact? Let's start with it. So first thing, let's explore if it's a biological angle. Is it the way men are wired? Because you would say it's not just European men, or no, it's not just Nigerian men, or no, it's not just Chinese or Malaysian men, or it's not just Canadian men. It's just men. So is it like a wiring, a hardwired, some DNA code, some connections? Is this just the fabric of how men are built? So, evolutionary psychology argues men are wired to seek multiple partners. Some people are going to say, is that an excuse? To spread their genes. Buzz and Shackelford, 1997. Men are wired to seek multiple partners. Is that an excuse? Is that lack of control? I don't know. But modern men, this was 1997. So I guess modern men are the 2000 men. Modern men are not cavemen. So why not leave their processes in place, stability, The family unit often represents security, emotional, financial, and social. Living risk losing status, kids, or assets. So, did Byron, the CEO, did he think? Did he think about all of this? Right, Andy Byron. Did he think about this when he was in arms with Kirsten Cabot? If I get caught, I would lose my status as a CEO. I would lose my family. I would lose my wife. Did he process it? Did he process this information that way, or was it just hardwired that I'm gonna just go with the flow? That's just how we are built. I'm this older woman right now, not a young. He didn't go for a 23-year-old. Kristen is about 50 or more, right? So the connection there was not just, I don't think it was just a sexual connection. And that was a strange one, right? But let's keep on. So a man might want the thrill on the side, but he's not trying to blow up his entire family. He's not trying to upset his life. It's like wanting his cake and eating it too. Isn't that pretty interesting? Like a man wants to step out, dip a little bit, but keep his family in order. If every other relationship is possible, why is this particular relationship still frowned upon? If men can only manage multiple women, why is there not an access entry for a position where men don't have to lie? They can come forth and say, I'm polygamous in nature. Are you going to be with me because I'm going to be with multiple women? But the way Western society has framed that, women are not willing to accept. So men have to lie. And then eventually, when the women are caught up, then they are willing to settle because, I mean, they're comfortable too. I mean, look how comfortable Kirsten was on a man's chest that she knows has a woman at home with kids. This is the power. But if he had led on that, I want to be with you, I want to go out with you, but I am married, I don't think that it would have turned out that way. But they were working together, so I'm thinking she already knew. So it's a little different. Cultural expectation. So in places like Asia, Arab societies, Africa, men are socialized to see cheating as a lesser sin. If you're in the Christian world, sin is some kind of evil. So men are seen, educated and socialized to see cheating as a lesser sin for them. But if a woman was to cheat, then it's the end of the world. It's more than the Holocaust. It's more than World War II. It's almost World War III. It's almost expected in some circles, but leaving the family is a no. I cheat. I'm sorry. I'm forgiven. Don't break the family because of this. Let's move on. Don't have to break the family. You could clean yourself up. You could do some tests, come back, and you're good again. And let's keep the family moving. And some cultures they look at it like, and when you go cry, they say, listen, that's just part of the culture. It's part of the plan, but it's not part of Western culture. Western culture is, for me, a hypocritical system that indulges and tells you people should live their best lives. A man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman, a man can marry a woman, uh, whatever a trans can do. The open society, but the only forbidden fruit in Western society, the only no, unacceptable is a man with multiple women. West is absolutely against this and will forever and a day be against it. So in Africa, for example, polygamy's historical roots can normalize multiple partners. So, but it's structured, it's accepted by society, it's not something that's hidden. There's a main wife, the first wife that runs the show, she's like the foundation, right? And then anchor wives that came according to second, third, fourth, fifth, right? And this is typically so with Arabs, and vastly Muslims, but not something that's very common in Western society, right? Mm. Poly relationships where you could have multiple sex partners is accepted, but you cannot. They're not encouraging you to marry. So you can be opening your diversity and sexual exploration, man, 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 woman, man, any person receptive to just about anything you want to do, and they would say you're modern, you're polyamorous. But a society is going to scream at a man whose hand talk with another woman that he appears to like and love. And at the point, nobody knew if, I mean, if he had permission from his woman, but he would understand that society was never going to accept of him doing that. So, but let's keep on understanding why men do this particular act. Emotional versus physical. Men often separate sex from love. That's a historic concept. A man can have sex with you every day and not love you, and love you and not have sex with you. I mean, it's rare, but men are not usually tying up sex and love as the same thing. A fling might just be that, a fling, right? You come in, we shag up, and you go about your business. There's no, men are not going to, even if they find out that they have feelings for you, they're good at masking it. Their primary partner, the man's primary partner, the wife, usually represents all the emotional stability, shared history, and family ties. So most men are not going to give you more emotional support that they're already giving their wives or the main primary wife partner. General Society survey from 2021 said 60% of men say their affairs were purely physical, not emotional. That's their get out of jail card right there. It was just physical. It was not, I didn't have any feelings towards her, which is totally BS. I have the rule of three. If you are having sexual relationship with a woman after the third time, the rule of three, and the third time is not the third round. The third time means you're coming back. So day one, day two, day three. On day four, you're coming back because you are now developing feelings towards that woman. Day one, day two, day three is all physical. Day four is attraction, it's physicality, it's comfort, and it's familiarity. So my rule of three stays at the point where you are going, you are voluntarily now going. Even the what are you doing text, the booty call text. After three, you might settle on the fact that it's a booty call, but I can guarantee you it's more emotional at that point in time. And if you want to know that's more emotional, let it stop abruptly that you were not anticipating for it to cut off. And you would see your emotional attachment towards it would be affected. So it would be more emotional than physical because if it cuts after the fourth, fifth time where you're already comfortable, you should just be able to not care and just walk away. But you'll find out that you're gonna be trying to figure out because you were not ready for that interruption. So your emotions are tied to it. So some people think that men cheat for ego, for variety, for the rush, for the family, but the family must stay in touch, right? Let's go ahead and listen to Jordan Peterson. My guy, he used to be a very lucid psychologist. He used to put out a lot of content that was powerful before he went full gone blazing MAGA. And once you've gone MAGA, you usually lose your bearings. But he has still said some things that I think warrant that someone can listen to him, right? So let's go ahead and listen to what Jordan Peterson has to say.
Have you ever asked yourself, if he's cheating, why won't he just leave? You're not alone. Many women struggle with this painful contradiction. Why does he betray you, yet refuse to let you go? The answer isn't simple, but understanding it is crucial for your self-respect and future. Men who cheat but stay.
And I want to give a context that this is a very Western take on infidelity for men. He's a Canadian, he's mostly American these days with his MAGA inclination. So he is going to give a very Western take on the approach on infidelity. And we've already touched that. Infidelity is something that cuts across cultures and across countries and across continents. And each society has its own take and view on how they navigate the difficult terrain of infidelity. So you're going to hear largely an unacceptable take of infidelity from the voice and the thought process of a complete Westerner and exclusively white Western culture.
Aren't always just selfish or cruel. There's something deeper at play, psychological, emotional, and even biological factors that drive their choices. If you're stuck in this painful cycle, today we're breaking it down. We'll explore 6 powerful truths behind this behavior so you can see the reality and take back control of your life. Some men exist in a constant state of contradiction. They want stability, yet they crave excitement. This internal battle is not just about morality or self-control. It's about the very nature of human desire. For centuries, men have been wired to seek novelty, to chase the unknown, to experience the thrill of the hunt. At the same time, they also desire security, a place to return to, someone who knows them deeply and accepts them despite their flaws. This creates a paradox. How can a man truly commit if part of him is always seeking something else? And yet, how can he truly leave when he knows the depth of what he has? The answer lies in choice. A man who cheats but refuses to leave has not made a true choice. He is indulging in the illusion that he can have both worlds. The thrill of a new experience gives him an emotional high, a sense of power and control. But when the excitement fades, he retreats to the comfort of familiarity. This back and forth cycle is not an accident. It's a calculated behavior, whether he admits it or not. It allows him to feel invincible, as if he is in control of his own destiny, never having to sacrifice one thing for another. But here's the truth. A man who truly respects himself makes a choice. He doesn't live in contradiction. A mature, self-aware man understands that real strength lies in commitment, not just to a relationship, but to a standard of integrity. He knows that lasting fulfillment comes from discipline, from choosing depth over surface level excitement. But many men lack this level of self-awareness. Instead, they justify their actions with excuses. I love my partner, but I just needed something different. Or it didn't mean anything. It was just a moment of weakness. These are not reasons. They are rationalizations designed to avoid accountability. And as long as he can convince himself that he isn't truly hurting anyone, he will continue. But here's where it gets dangerous. For him and for you, every time he steps outside the relationship but refuses to leave, he reinforces the idea that this is acceptable, that he can have both stability and excitement without consequences, that he can betray without loss. And if he is never forced to choose, why would he? Why would he give up the security of someone who loves him, who understands him, who forgives him? If he can also experience the adrenaline of the chase, it is not love that keeps him from leaving. It is the comfort of having both. But this is where you must step in, because if he refuses to make a choice, then you must. You must recognize that a man who truly values a relationship does not put himself in situations that jeopardize it. He does not seek validation outside of his commitment. He does not chase distractions while clinging to the person who gives him stability. Because a man who cannot decide who cannot commit fully is not truly invested in the relationship. He's merely using it as a safety net. So the question is not, why won't he leave? The real question is, why are you allowing him to stay?
Why are you allowing him to stay? That's a Western take of infidelity. And like I said, it does not necessarily mean it's wrong, because infidelity, cheating, is not a victimless crime. It breaks trust, shatters heart, and messes with families. So it's not across the board. The women in China, the women in Africa, the women in South America, the women across the Pacific in New Zealand and Australia, the women in Tonga, the women in Guam, I don't think they're sharing and accepting and all receptive and saying it's, unless it's a known practice that the man is supposed to have more than one woman. But even in Africa, where in some countries polygamy is allowed, it's legal. Or in Arab societies, I don't know much about Arabs, but I know that their culture allows for polygamy. It's not just done in the context of neglecting the woman at home and going full gone like outside, which is a mistake a lot of men do. They go out showing emotions and affections, and why neglecting the woman, the primary woman at home? So the question is, if you are that into that other woman, why are you not living? But like Dr. Peterson says, the question is not why are you not living? The question is for the woman saying, why are you accepting him to stay? There are people who are hurt in infidelity relationship. People get hurt. Trust is broken. When trust is broken, it is so hard to put together. So how can we have a society? How can we fix a society? We have fixed the LGBT part of the equation. You can live your best life. You can, as a man, you can marry a man. You can love a man. So well, other parts of the world have really not accepted this ideology. But we, at least in the Western world, this has been accepted and perfected, and it's happy, and they're going about their lives. But how are you fixing a society where men want more than one woman? How are we modernizing? You don't want to call it polygamy. How are we modernizing a situation where a man can legally be with more than one woman? Is there a possibility? Is there room for this type of situation? Or in the Western world, because we don't want to have many more children, it's a no, no. But back to infidelity. Why do women, like Jordan Peterson was saying, the honest is, why are you accepting him back? Why do women stay with cheaters? And how do we heal from this cycle? And studies show women experience higher rates of depression and anxiety post infidelity. This American Psychology Association 2024, again, there's no study in Africa, some of these poor countries, to show the what happens to women who have experienced infidelity. There's no study, and because there are no studies, the men are just going like it's just who we are. We are just this, and there's no accountability, like Jordan Peterson said. So without studies and without a measure of accountability to say, look, this is the hurt that you're affecting this person, can we just comfortably say it's culture? It's intrinsic. It's just a value of your DNA, your code, who you are as a man. This is what you're supposed to do, when your actions are directly affecting somebody whom you claim you love. And in places like Africa and poorer continents, maybe South America, I don't know if they have this kind of studies. Some women stay due to financial dependency because the women have not had to work on themselves, and they say, okay, now I have three, four kids. What am I going to go out there and do? How am I going to live life? And this resentment, this hopeless failure of leaving this, and society is going to say you failed as a woman. You're living your marriage, so you failed as a woman, and so they're going to stay fear of stigma, or hope that the man is going to change. Focus of always keeping the family, and I'm a supporter of keeping the family together. That's why I'm not a radical liberal, because for liberals it's just a quick up and destroy families. So yes, for me something has happened, but I feel like, can we find a way to keep the family together? Is there something that can keep the man? Is there a situation that can keep, as a wife, if you understand that your husband is polygamous, can you accept it? Can you then say we're going to have an open relationship? Open relationship is now very common in the West. Can you say, okay, I'm not going to have sexual relationships with you anymore, but I'm going to have a marital relationship with you because we have something to build, and I'll let you be with this other woman. I know this other woman, and it's just only that other woman. You're not gonna have are those barriers that we can overcome, or it's just categorically a no. And I'm asking these questions to provoke our minds, because infidelity predates all of us on earth right now. How can something that predates all of us still plague us, as to seeing a CEO lose everything he got because he was comfortably in the hands of another woman? But of course, he inflicted pain on the main woman at home that bears his name, his last name. But that's the one thing that we try not to think if there's a solution. We say the responsibility is on you because the society is a monogamous focused society. You can only have one woman. So you would see in Western societies that would say men need to own their actions, go to therapy, take accountability, and have open communications and rebuild trust, which is hard work, right? And some people would say couples therapy works for 67% of the cases if both partners commit. Right, the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy in 2025 said yes, in 60%, if the couples are willing to commit to make it work, it can work. But is there an avenue, I'll ask again, where a man can love more than one woman, where monogamy has been engraved in the DNA of everybody, to say the woman outside is to, especially in a society like America that hypocritically frowns on relationships that half of the country is practicing. It's just Byron's turn to get caught up. It would be somebody else. It would be somebody else. It's just, you think that because Byron got caught up, the other men have woken up and stopped what they're doing? No, it was just his turn to get caught up. So the other men are still there. They're like, well, he was dumb. He was in there. This is what he did. These are his mistakes, where I'm not going to. It's like a gang of thieves. If one thief gets caught up, you're going to think, and killed, if the police kills the thief, you're going to think, oh, they're going to stop stealing. They're like, oh, I don't want to go. Or they give life imprisonment. They're going to say, no, they're still going to be thieves. So how do we mitigate the society so that this is not an act where people are hiding? People are open about their ability to want to love more than one woman. How does a Western society not frown at Byron if he was able to be honest with his wife and say, I want to I want to be with another woman. I love you. I want you to be my primary, but I also want to have a second wife. And because the society is frowned upon, that concept is frowned upon, I'm sure his wife would have shut it down and asked for a divorce at that point in time. So is cheating a flex, or is it just a weak move if it tears down your home? Is it a flex because you've not been caught? Or when it cuts and it tears down your home, it's a weak move? Own, when you tell men, own your truth. Get help. And ladies, don't let nobody dim your light. But infidelity predates every human on earth as I do this podcast. We're gonna live and keep infidelity. It's gonna be something that's gonna outlive all of us. How do we look at this and come and have an honest conversation and say, is it time to open up as we accepted the LGBT community and say it's time for men who are sit in the closet with multiple women to come out and live their full and unadulterated life? Because seeing a man lose his possession, his ability, his integrity in society just because he was with another woman, I mean, what wrong did this man do to society? He wronged his wife. He married one woman in a monogamous marriage. The only wrong he did was to his wife. But society has judged him. He has lost his dignity. He has lost his integrity. He made no commitments to us. He had no obligation or integrity to us. He was a man that the vast majority of Americans did not know about. He was a man who was a CEO of $1 billion company, doing his job, going to work, and surely banging this HR at the office. And this was the one day that they was going out to, and the company was making profits and going just fine. Nothing was wrong with this company. There were no questions of integrity. There was no questions about the man. There was nothing. Everything was perfect. And the moment he is caught arms locked with another woman that's not his woman, his character is assassinated. That is hypocrisy at its finest. So why I understand what Dr. Peterson is saying, why I understand the pain that's inflicted to the woman that has been cheated on. I disagree with a hypocritical society that's going to judge a man that did not in any way, shape, or form wrong them. He wronged the wife. We're not part of the woman's family. We're not sisters. We're not nothing. She married him. If that man was out here stealing, not paying tax, not doing stuff that affects all society, then yes, he has affected us like Benny Madoff. Benny Madoff's deal affected a vast majority of Americans. So you can look at him and question his integrity, his whatever, because what he did was directly targeted to the people of society. A cheating man has a problem with his family, his wife. Society cannot pass a verdict of condemnation to a man that in no shape or form has affected you. That's a hypocritical society, and that's why I decided to do this podcast. It's not to promote infidelity, it's to call out American hypocrisy in things like this. It is your host, Stress, for the Villageboy Podcast. Be safe, love one another,